Although today was one of the most joyful days of my life, it was by far the most terrifying. My wife is my heart. She is what keeps me going, makes me strong. She is our rock. I've never been so scared, and I still am.
I was 36. It was my first time getting pregnant. Everything seemed status quo until a month before she was born. That's when my pregnancy really started to hit me in terms of I was getting really tired, I was getting really swollen. And it got to the point about 2 weeks before she was born that it just got extremely uncomfortable. So I saw my doctor and she just said, "You're high risk because of your age. It's gotta be anxiety." I ended up seeing a family care doctor as well as a different OBGYN. My gut told me something was wrong and something was off, but I couldn't figure out how to communicate that or make it known.
They were like, "Oh, the baby's fine." And I was like, "Well, what about mom?" We came home that night and Laura Lee was sleeping in the chair down here. She was crying and she said, "Feel my heart beat," and I felt it. It was just out of control.
I had booked the very first doctor's appointment that morning. I was so concerned with my symptoms. And so it was when I left the doctor's office that my water broke. I called Ryan, he came from work, we went right to the hospital. Lindy Lou was born on September 14th, 2017.
They went to do the skin-to-skin contact with Laura Lee and she was like, I can't do this. And that's when I was like, there's something wrong.
I said, "I can't breathe, like take her off." The next thing I know, there were a bunch of people running in.
They took her away. It was really scary. I saw her when they brought her into the ICU. She didn't know what was going on, but she was flailing and she had all this stuff connected to her. I went out to the waiting room, broke down out there, and we didn't have a clue what was going on. I honestly thought maybe she was gonna die.
And all of a sudden I woke up in this room and I had a breathing mask. So I remembered that I had a baby, but I didn't know what was taking place.
When we heard the words heart failure, that was scary.
They diagnosed me with peripartum cardiomyopathy, which is heart failure caused or induced by pregnancy. My OBG came in, she apologized for not being able to see that diagnosis. It's very rare. Those first 2 months that Lulu was born were extremely hard, trying to figure out what was going on with me as well as how to manage this with a newborn. In January of 2018, I did start to feel better. I felt like the medications were working. There was hope that I could naturally get better with the treatment I was on as opposed to having to have a heart transplant. A couple weeks later, my symptoms started getting worse again. So it's like I had this little peak of hope and then all of a sudden I was going back downhill. I had an ICD put in. They did an angiogram the following May of that same year, and that's when they found out that I previously had the left ventricle failing and now I had the right ventricle failing. So now my whole heart was failing. It was at that moment where they said, "You're gonna need a heart transplant and it has to be now." Over the course of the weekend, I went downhill really quickly. I was scared that I wasn't going to get a heart in time. On Monday, when the doctor came in and she said, "We have a match," and that was like the most wonderful feeling ever because I finally was like, okay, this is going to help me. This is going to get me back home and be a mom. And so that was really, that was a moment I'll never forget.
Doing awesome. She got out of surgery. She made giant leaps, I mean, immediately. The fact that she was able to come home and be there for Lindy Lou's first birthday was quite remarkable as well.
Holding her was amazing because it was the first time that I didn't struggle with the weight or my breathing. It's really joyful being able to hold her on my own. My message to all moms is to advocate for yourself and advocate for your health. If something feels off, look into it. Use your voice, speak up, don't give up, and don't settle for an answer that you're not comfortable with.
Yay! Good job! That was awesome! High five!
The American Heart Association is key to kind of our existence right now. It means everything for Laura Lee's future. All the research, all the funding is giving Laura Lee a chance at living out her life.